Hi everyone, it's Jill Celeste from JillCeleste.com, where I teach entrepreneurs all they need to know about marketing so they can become the director of marketing for their business. Today I want to talk to you about handling complaints that could come across your social media sites. Now, I know as an entrepreneur, we really strive to provide good customer service and we hope people really rave about us. But the inevitable part of owning a business is that sometimes someone is going to be unhappy with your product or service. And where this becomes especially panic-stricken is if they voice that complaint on your social media channels because everyone can see it. So the trick is to be prepared for social media complaints before they happen. And the reason why is it takes the panic out of that situation should one come across your Facebook or Twitter or other social media accounts. And the way to do that is to create what is called a complaint policy. And I'm going to tell you the 2 steps you need to do to formulate your own complaint policy for your social media channels. So the first step to this is to monitor, to have a process in place for monitoring your social media channels. So this could take a lot of different shapes and forms, but here's what I recommend. First, set up Google Alerts for your business. You could just go to google.com/alerts, and there you could set up keywords. Now, you could always set up keywords about your industry, but in this example for monitoring, you want to put your business name in there and also your first and last name. Make sure you put quotation marks around that. That way you'll actually get a search return on your whole business name, not just individual parts of your name. So put the quotation marks around it, and then make sure if Google sends you an email that you read it, because obviously someone is talking about you out there. It could be good, it could be bad, but you want to make sure you're aware of it, and Google Alerts will help you do that. It's a free tool available through Google, and it just takes a few minutes to set up. The second thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're always monitoring your actual Facebook, your Twitter, your Google+, all those profiles every day. I recommend carving out a time every morning or every evening, at least once a day, to go in and check your social media accounts. You want to check for questions and comments and compliments and also complaints. There's nothing worse than someone posting a complaint on a social media account and you never hear from that business owner. That is a terrible impression. So make sure you have time every day. It doesn't take very long, 5 or 10 minutes, but carve that time into your calendar so that you always have that in there and you can keep up with your accounts. Finally, the final part of the monitoring process is to make sure you have a standard in your business for how long something will go without you answering it. This is called a customer service standard. And basically, it's a promise to yourself and to your team, if you have one, that you won't let so many hours go by without you at least responding in some way to someone who left a message on your social media account. Now, that could be a question or, a clarification about something, or it could be a complaint. So you might say to yourself, I'm not going to let 12 hours go by without acknowledging that compliment. Even if it's something you're researching and say, I need to research this, let me get back to you. But as far as complaints go, you definitely don't want to let too much time lapse. So set a standard for yourself, a number of business hours, and it's just something internal to you, but it's a promise you make to yourself that you won't let things go too long without you responding. So that's the first part. That's the monitoring part. Now let's go to the second step, which is creating the complaint policy itself. And so here's what I recommend you do. Back in my corporate days, I managed Facebook pages for hospitals. And let me tell you, hospital Facebook pages get all sorts of complaints, right? Because it's dealing with people's health. People aren't unhappy with the wait times in the emergency room. They didn't like the nurse, you name it. So what we did in that business, and what I recommend you do for your business, is brainstorm in advance a list of complaints you could possibly get and your response to each of those complaints. And you could do that in a very quick grid on Microsoft Word or Excel. And you can see here there's a column for the complaint, and then there's a column for the response. So if you brainstorm the different types of complaints you could get for your business, and then you already formulate a response to that complaint, it takes the panic out of the situation. And of course, even it's not going to be perfect. You're going to probably add to it as time goes, but just gives you something to go to when you see that complaint, and you can go ahead and respond. Now, your response should have at least 3 elements. One is an apology, even if it's not your fault, apologize. The second thing is you want to make sure you take this conversation off social media and somewhere else. So we want to provide a phone number or an email address or both so that people can get that complaint off social media and they can contact you through the proper channels. Or you can ask for that person's information. You can be proactive that way. It doesn't matter. The idea is you give them a way for you to get in touch with you so it's not through social media. Do not go back and forth with an angry customer on your social media channel. It's just a bad practice. Everyone sees it. So again, offline, that's the key. The third part of your response should be an assurance that it'll be taken care of. So again, you have an apology, you have a follow-up email or phone number, and you have an assurance that things will be taken care of. And that makes the social media user much more pleased with the response if they know, yes, you're taking their consideration very seriously. So that is the 2-step process for handling social media complaints. And as you can see, it's all about being proactive. It's about proactively monitoring your social media through Google Alerts and through you monitoring manually, if you will, through your social media channels. And it's also about preparing in advance what possible complaints people could have and how you'd respond to them. If you do this now, before you get complaints, trust me, it'll give you such a peace of mind should a complaint ever come onto your social media site. So I hope these tips were helpful. And if you need additional assistance for your marketing or social media needs, go over to my website at jillceleste.com. And until next time, here's to your marketing success and have a great day.